Okay, there we go again. I think we're live. We should be live right now. Let's see if we're live. It looks to be working. Okay, welcome back, guys. I'm gonna be working on some NEUROFUNK basses today. So we've been working on some NEUROFUNK in the past streams, and that was actually going pretty well. So I'm opening up the project right now, and we're gonna be doing some gnarly, filthy reeses maybe. So yeah, I can see some people coming in. Welcome, guys. We're just gonna wait for a couple of people to come in and this project to open up in Ableton, and then we're gonna get working. Welcome Precise, welcome Exemption. Time to do another stream, guys. Please go away.
Riggedy wreck, son!
You heard of OTT? Yes, you mean the multiband compression preset or the Xfer plugin. Hello Dagan Haas. Welcome, thanks for the subscription, man. Okay, so the project is opening up nicely. The Artist OTT. No, man, never heard of the Artist OTT. What kind of music does he make? Okay, let's just let this project load for a little bit. It's opening up all the samples right now, so let's give it a little moment. So yeah, no, I've never heard of the guy, man. Never heard of him. So if you guys want to be part of a Discord server, I think this is a good moment to while we're waiting for this project to open, to just do a little promo of my Discord server. If you want to be a part of a Discord server where we discuss music production, go to the description below the stream. You can find a link to my Discord server there. It would be great to see you guys there. Welcome, Josh, joining the Discord now. Good, man. I'll see you there after the stream. So the project seems to be open right now. Let's go to the full screen, and yeah, I'm just gonna give you guys a little playthrough. I changed a few little things after the last stream I did with this project, and I'm gonna show you what I did. I took out some elements and I added a new element, and I think it sounds a little bit more interesting right now. I think the synth that we had before was a little bit too basic, a little bit too simple. So yeah, this is what we got right now. So that's what we have right now. Looking forward to this live stream. That's good, Exemption. I hope you're liking it. Now, as you can hear, I took out some elements, and I'm gonna look right now what I've done. I converted this project to an Ableton Live 10 project as well, so we're now in the new Ableton Live 10. As you can see, we've got multiple groups right here, which is great. I really like the new feature because I can now actually process just the kick and the snare while they're still inside of the drums group, so I can still, you know, I can still process the drums, but I can also process just the kick and the snare individually now, which is really great. And then I have a kick group, which you can see, which is going to contain the main kick and maybe a layer to dirty the kick up a bit. And I can put processing on that as well, which is great. So I can really just put everything on every single element. And previously you just had to, you know, do some crazy routing or routing with audio tracks and stuff like that, and you don't really have to do that anymore, so I really like that. I took out this one percussive loop. We might use it somewhere later on in the track, I'm not sure. I think it was just a little bit too much for the intro, I guess. You know, if we have this here, I think it just takes away of the intro. I really like that. I really like those unnerving, high-pitched, screechy kind of pad, you know, that you hear. I really like that, and I felt I was adding too much elements that actually, you know, it was pushing that way too far to the background of the intro. And I think if we just keep the intro a bit cleaner, a bit emptier, that's just gonna work way better. And it's gonna make it easier to get a good drop going as well, because that's what I usually struggle with. And that's basically all I removed from the percussion. I did a little change here on the epic percussion. As you can see, I took out some hits. We had these hits here as well. See, and I felt it was a little bit too much, so just took out a bunch of them. So it just, well, it feels a little bit less static, because these hits, they're actually just happening at exactly the same point as where these are hitting. So I thought, you know, just to change it up a bit, let's just get rid of those and just, you know, have it going a little bit like that. And then at the end, just do that double one. You know, just adds a bit to the intro, I guess. I took out the intro bass as well, which was this one. Let's see. I took it out completely. I might have to replace it with another bass or anything like that, but I'm not sure yet. And I actually quite like how the intro is sounding at the moment, so we might just actually, you know, go with this and just don't have a bass in the intro. Now here's where I really took out a bunch of shit. I took out this synth. We made that synth, and it's a cool synth, but it's a bit too, I don't know, it's a bit too simple for a Neurofunk track, or at least that's what I'm feeling. So I took it out, and I also had this pad, this low pad, which kind of sounds nice, but I didn't really feel it was adding too much to the intro. Now what I've done here is I've added a new element, and this one, if I can just show you, let me just turn off all these effects. This is actually just a sound in a sampler. And let me see if I can show in browser. So it's actually this sample, and it's just that first part, and I actually quite like it. So I'm doing some weird pitching here, as you can see, just shaping it a bit with the pitch envelope. It's just adding a slight movement, and I've got a bandpass filter set up, and quite some distortion. So that was the original. Now I might want to go with a little bit less distortion. I think that sounds nice. And I added a bit of reverb. Now this might be pretty quiet, so let me just bring it up a bit. So it's just really like a simple sound right now. And then I use the new echo device to, widen the sound up a little bit. As you can see, I've set it to 1/64th note, so it's really short delay. And I played with these settings a little bit, with these percentages, which is just going to offset the delay time ever so slightly. So you can see I brought one down and I brought one up, which means that we're going to get a wider sound after this device. And I'm also adding it after the reverb, which means that the tail of the reverb is now actually starting to sound a little bit robotic, maybe a little bit mechanical, like it has a slight stutter, which is kind of what I wanted. And then I have a saturator, which is just bringing the level up, and then we have a ping pong delay. And I've actually set the dry wet to quite high. It's actually above 50%, which means that the initial hit of the synth is going to be quieter than the first hit of the delay, and that really gives the sound like it comes in, right? So it just starts off a little bit quieter and then comes in, which is basically just what I wanted for this. And I might have to play around with the sound a little bit. I might have to, you know, I can always try one of these other hits and see how these sound. That one actually might work better. And that's just playing 3 notes. Let's see. We're working in I think we're working in F sharp minor or F minor. Let's check. What was the bass at? Yeah, we're working in F minor. So this one is actually not, you know, because it's a sound that doesn't really have a pitch. Well, it has a pitch, but I don't know what the pitch is, so I'm really just putting it in at the pitch that I think sounds right. So right here you should actually see this note as the F note, so as the root, and this one is 1 semitone above the root, so, and that one would be, you know, 2 semitones down. And I just really played with these kind of like that, just to find the right pitch. And I think the pitch is right at the moment. If you guys think the pitch needs to be different, let me know in the chat. But I think it should be about okay right now. And that's just basically it, I think. Did I remove anything from this group? I removed this sound for now. It's a cool sound, but I think I might use it in the breakdown of the track later on. So I've just taken it out right now, but I'm keeping it there for later. I'm just turning the clip off so it doesn't use any CPU. We're still using this sound. And I think if we just boost the high end on this, we can really bring out those higher notes, which I think is going to sound nice. 1 semitone lower sounded better. Let's check real quick. So right now we have this. I'm going to make it a little bit louder. Let's add the saturator. I'm gonna add another saturator, I think. Just gonna boost the loudness a little bit. So that's what we have right now. Let's try 1 semitone lower. That's too low. I think we might actually have to go up a semitone. That sounds better. Welcome Data Code. You were working on a metal neuro drop, so you missed a couple of minutes. Well, we haven't really done too much yet. I'm just showing what I've changed since the last stream, and then we're gonna get back into it. Sounds a bit distorted. What do you mean? That little sound that I have, this one, it does sound a bit distorted. But that's, you know, it isn't really a problem. I think it's on the end of the sound because we're really just ending somewhere randomly. Let's just try that. Okay. That sounds better. There was a little bit of a click on the end because I hadn't really snapped it to the grid, and right now we're actually losing a little bit, but I think it works. It sounds pretty good right now. So let's try adding some processing to this one. I'm gonna upgrade the utility right here. And let's just add an EQ8 and boost the high end with a high shelf. I think that could work. So, let's see, what should we add right now? I'm not too happy yet with this section of the intro. I think it misses something. There needs to be at least another element, and I'm not too sure about this one, which might be the whole problem right now. I might actually just replace this with something else. Let's see how it sounds without it. Wait a second, is this Ableton 10? Yes it is. We're working in Ableton 10. I'm quite happy with the way it sounds, to be quite honest. Let's just work on a bass. Because the title of this stream is Let's Make Some Filthy Reese's. And I think we should do just that. Let's see. If there's any questions, guys, let me know them in the stream. I try in the chat. I try to answer all the questions that you guys put in there. So I want to see you make a Duddy Reese. Well, we're gonna make some Reese's today, so that might just happen. I might actually just make a whole bunch of Reese's, just see which one we can put in a track. Because that's the thing, you know, most of the time when I make Reese's, I just end up making something that doesn't fit the track I'm working on, but it's still a good sound nonetheless. So, you know, you just save it to your folder, and you know, hope that you can use it later on in a later track. But we're actually just gonna try and make a Reese that works for this track. What's the plugin of choice for the Reese? I don't really have a plugin of choice for a Reese. I like FM8 if I want to do some FM based Reeses. I like Serum for just my subtractive Reeses, because Serum is just really it has a lot of stuff, so you can make really original Reeses pretty easily. And but you know, any synth with detunes, any synth with at least 2 oscillators and saw waves can basically be used to make a neuro Reese. So it's all about what you do to it. let me drink my tea for a little moment, guys. It would be nice to make a video on how to mix a drum and bass track so it sounds as loud as Black Sun Empire tracks, for example. Yeah. I'm working on an EP, and when those tracks are done, I'm gonna be mixing and mastering them as well. So I might do a video about how I mixed and mastered these tracks, which I'll do in the future, I think. But right now I'm still working on the tracks, so I can't really show you the final mix and final mastering process, but we're gonna do that. Now, we've been going for 20 minutes, so let's get going with some Reese's. We've got Serum right here. Now the basic of a Reese is just basically 2 saw waves that are detuned. So let's just start with a Reese based off of 2 detuned saw waves, because that would be the easiest, right? Let's go down into the bass tones, and I'm playing an F note on my keyboard because that's the note we are working in this track. Now I'm gonna turn on legato and I'm gonna make this monophonic, give it a little bit of pitch bend. That's a little bit we can work with. Can you teach me how to tie my shoelaces? I can hardly tie my own sometimes, so no, really, that shouldn't be too hard, right? Come on. Can you synthesize a crash cymbal? Synthesizing a crash cymbal, well, that's mainly just noise, and then shaping the noise with EQs, volume envelopes, and that's basically just all you need to do. It's a lot of just white noise. Yeah, you gotta pitch the noise down, I guess. So you might have to, you can do it 2 ways. You can either use a filter and close that filter down so it gets less high frequencies. That's a way to make a crash. Another way is to take a white noise sample, but not a true white noise sample. Take a looped white noise sample like you have in Operator, because that you can actually pitch. Normal white noise, you can't really pitch it. It's gonna just turn into shit, because noise is noise anyway. So, but if you just take that looped white noise from Operator, for instance, you can pitch that down and you can actually give it a pitch envelope. That could work as well. But it's mostly, I find, just starting with noise and a volume envelope that just closes the volume over time, and then just use maybe a filter to roll off some high end the longer the cymbal is playing, and then just, you know, use some EQs to boost some frequencies that you like and create some resonances, and that's pretty much all it is. Well, you can use a bell kind of sound within it. I mean, that's also an option, but I wouldn't really synthesize crashes or cymbals, because why would you if there's so many samples out there that are gonna be just perfectly fine to use? So I don't even, you know, bother with it. The only kind of drums that I really synthesize are my kicks and sometimes snares, maybe some percussive sounds, but that's usually it. Do you just make your tracks using the minor scale or Phrygian? I like using the Phrygian scale. In this one I'm actually using that scale as well. I really like the mode Phrygian because of the first interval, the one semitone interval, which really works well in drum and bass. It just sounds angry, you know, and that angry sound, that aggressive sound that it has, is just, it's kind of what I like, you know. I really like that Phrygian mode. It sounds awesome. So now for the Reese. A classic Reese would be 2 voices. So we're gonna set this to 2 voices. I'm gonna set this the phase restart to the random phase restart. I'm gonna set that to 0, so it just starts at the same time. And And that would be your basic Reese. There's only one big problem with Serum when you make a Reese like this. It's super stereo. And the thing with Reese's is it normally has that clear movement, right? That oscillating movement that you hear. And right now you don't really hear that because we have so much stereo content going on. So what I like to do is go into the global tab and just bring the width down to 0. And that gives us that clear oscillation. So that's the clear Reese sound that we all love, right? And we can add a filter. Let's see. I'm gonna start with a band reject, and let's just add a little bit of filter movement on it. And I'm gonna use a pretty slow filter, I think. And we're also going to add the same movement to the width. I think that's going to give it a bit more character. Next thing up, we could add another layer to this. Maybe with a little bit of stereo. So we just bring this down maybe to about 40. And I'm gonna bring this one an octave up, and let's add 4 voices maybe. That might work. We might have to do 2 voices. How did you set the LFO to the cutoff so that it affects it both ways? Yeah, you just hold Alt Shift and then you click on the modulation thing. So if I hold Alt and Shift and click on it, you can see it switches between unipolar and bipolar mode. Really helpful, and sometimes it's just helpful to have the LFO start in the middle and just affect both sides of the knob. Notch 24 filter and low pass filter combined. We could do that. Let's see what happens. We can use one of these. Forgot to route the second oscillator through the filter. It's gonna make a huge difference now. Actually sounds a lot more interesting. How slow was the other one? 2 bars. Let's make another one from 1 bar, with 1 bar on the speed, and I'm just gonna add a slightly different shape. Something like that maybe. And I'm gonna assign that to the cutoff as well, but just with a little bit. Let's re-trigger both of these. Next thing I want to add, let's see, we might want to do this one the opposite way. bring that level up a little bit. This is a good starting point for a Reese. Let's add a little bit of the hyper. Just gonna add a little bit more detuning, a little bit more width as well. We can add a little bit of the dimension expander if we want. Not too much though.
Riggedy wrecked, son!
K4 Kush, thanks for subscribing. Welcome to the stream, guys. Kinda sounds like Nero right here. I like where this is going. Yeah, it sounds quite interesting. We need some more pitch bend range on this as well, so we can actually give it a really nice pitch drop. Ninja Flash, welcome. Thanks for subscribing to this channel. I hope you're liking the stream so far. Really, guys, last few streams we've had a whole bunch of new subscribers coming in, and by the way, we're at almost 50 viewers right now. That's, I think, a record on this stream. That's good, guys. Welcome all to the stream. I hope you guys liking what you see. If you want to see more streams like this, definitely subscribe to this channel. Welcome, Billy Myers. Thanks for subscribing. Welcome, Ninja Flash. It's great to see that you love the videos. Yeah, so we're just working on some Reeses at the moment. This Life 10 skin you're using is amazing. It's actually one of the default skins in Ableton Live 10. It's the mid-dark skin, and I just changed the brightness settings a little bit so it just looks a bit darker, because I like to work on a little bit of a darker track. So that's yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. How much money would you ask for a mix and master a D&B track? That kind of depends on the track. Sometimes, you know, I get a track to mix down that's, you know, maybe 10 or, you know, a max of 10 stems. That's obviously gonna cost less than if I get a full project of, like, I don't know, 100 tracks. So, your best bet is to just contact me on social media, or maybe Discord. That could also work. Just contact me and just ask me, you know, send me some stuff and I'll look at it. I'll get back to you. So yeah, it kind of has a navy blue tint to it. I love it. Yeah, I did add a little bit of a blue tint to the skin. So we have something that actually sounds quite nice at the moment. I'm not too sure about this filter though. Let's try the band reject again. Are you using Ableton 10? Yes, I am. This is Ableton 10, boys. Look at the beauty of the groups in the groups. It's beautiful, don't you think? I personally really like it, so now we need to add some stuff to this so we can actually make it a little bit more interesting. I like what we have right here. I like that little sweeping thing that happens. It's actually a result of these two LFOs working against each other. It kind of works. We might want to do maybe a, you know, 1.5 bars. What's the Discord link? You can check in the stream below my in the description below the stream. You can find a link to my Discord server. I'm gonna be there pretty much every day. So if you wanna talk to me or other producers, then definitely check out the Discord server. It's a pretty active place, I would say. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I like the little bit of warmth we got when I just brought up the resonance a tiny little bit. I want to add some stuff so we can actually change this a bit. I'm gonna add a macro to the width so we can really do that. Kind of like a high pass filter, but we're not losing the low end too much, which kind of works. So I'm gonna do that. Band reject width. Hey K100, welcome to the stream. Haven't been on the Discord in a while. I've got a new track to stick up on there. Yeah, mate, definitely. Would like to see it. The Discord server is actually turning a lot into a drum and bass server, so would be great to hear a track there. Do you usually tend to use more detuned saws than, say, square waves? Yeah, I tend to use more saws, but sometimes I'll use square waves as well. So when I use FM synthesis, I tend to get a lot closer to a square wave kind of sound. But you know, both work. I really like saw waves for Reese's. So we have that knob now. I'm going to add some FM. So that just changed it a bit as well, I think. Might work. Josh asks, I got a new remix of a track by Spy called Dusty Fingers. Would I be able to get some feedback if I send it into the Discord? Yes, you can. We've actually got a feedback channel in the Discord server. There's only one rule, and that's before posting one of your own tracks, you gotta give some feedback to a member who posted the track before you. That way we can assure that everybody gets a little bit of feedback, and it just stays a good place, and it doesn't turn into a pile of just people posting their tracks and then, you know, leaving and never coming back again. So you know, that's the whole reason we put that into place. We really want to have a place where everybody can come in and get some honest feedback, you know, where, you know, everybody's track gets heard, and that way by using the bot that we are using, which is our feedback bot, we can actually, you know, manage that and actually do this. So that's the only thing you have to do if you want to actually sending in your track. Just give some other members feedback first and then post your track. That's all we're asking. Okay. I might just not use this right now, not use the second oscillator. And maybe just use it for that kind of stuff. You know, that could work. You know, you can use that in maybe a fill section on the end of a phrase, just bring it up a bit, or just at the first initial hit, just have that, you know, change the sound a bit. So I think I'm just gonna add a macro to that. let's do that. And then we can actually use one of these warping modes to maybe change the saw wave up a bit. Let's bring the random restart down, and let's just bring these phase knobs down. This is actually pretty... Created some weird overtones, but I really like it, so I'm definitely gonna keep it. So, what else do we got? Let's go into the effects tab. Let's add some distortion. And I'm gonna add a filter as well. So that filter is going to get rid of some of that really harsh high end, which we're going to bring back later on. We're going to add some more distortion. Let's work on this one a little bit. Let's see if we can actually distort just some of the mid frequencies, maybe a little bit of the highs as well. And then just bring that dry wet down, so we keep more of that clean sub as well. We could add a little bit of the flanger. Let's set that to maybe 4 bars, bring that mix down. Let's put it all the way at the front. That filter on the distortion isn't active. You're right. You're right. Completely. Try to at least distort the low mids as well, but not really affect the highs too much. So it really just adds a nice mid-frequency crunch to it. We might be able to play around with this. Just try. I like the diode one. It's starting to sound a bit better. This filter right here will probably be modulated. We could use an LFO for that. Let's see what we got. That might be too much. That could work maybe. Not that quick. Let's see if we can come up with a good pattern. gonna distort this later on as well, so we're really gonna bring out the high end as well. But right now I'm just focusing on a bit of the movement. Let's do a chorus on the high end. Gonna make the high end sound a little bit less harsh. And let's see what happens if we add the multiband compressor. So I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure on the filter movement on this one. That might work. Let's add some more to this. I'm gonna use one of the envelopes. I'm gonna make it quite short, and I'm gonna assign that, so envelope number 2, to the global tuning, so we can add a little bit of a pitch envelope. And I'm really not liking that filter, so let's move that filter to later in the chain before the compressor. Let's see. That movement works. I'm gonna make it longer though. So this is gonna speed up a bit, and then we're gonna go to here. And why I'm doing this, because I don't like that it has this this clear, that start, right? I mean, I like the start, but I don't like when it loops like that. So what I want is, I kind of like want to end this particular one going up, so that ends right here. So we're gonna have it end at that part, so that will lead back into this hit right here. I think that's gonna work. Let's just add one like that. Kind of works. It's not the best yet, but we can work with it. And we're clipping the hell out of serum right now. I've used the second envelope right here. And what I want to do though, let's see, I like that we have these two knobs, but what I want to do right now, I wish I had 5 macro knobs. I think this one, you know, it just screws it up way too much. Let's remove this. I mean, this is not really doing anything right now, even though we're FMing just a bit. It isn't really doing much, so let's just get rid of it. Which means we're actually going to save up another oscillator, which might be cool to use. We might actually add some more to the sound later on, and now we have 3 macros left now. So what I can do, I'm going to assign one of them. Let's see, we've got the master tuning right here. I'm going to set macro number 2 to that one. So we can change the size of that. Pitch. Let's just do that. And I'm gonna assign one to the decay as well. So we can do that kind of stuff. So this is going to be the decay. So that kind of works. We can use that on the end of a phrase. And the other thing I like is if you just add one to the attack and just bring it up. That kind of works as well. So let's just call that one attack. This might just work later on. We might just need stuff like this to change the sound a bit. Let's just add some processing. See what we can do, if we can bring the high end up a bit. Let's just add an EQ8 to see how everything looks. I'm going to make the sub a bit lower because the sub is quite loud. We can always bring that sub up afterwards, so we don't really need it that loud at the moment. Yeah, I'm trying to see if it sounds any better. I think it sounds worse, actually. Let's just keep it at that. I'm gonna add an amp. Let's set it to the dual mode so we actually have a stereo amp. Demi asks, hey, will this webinar be available later for view? Yes, all my live streams will be on my channel after I'm done streaming. It usually takes about half a day for them to get processed by YouTube, depending on how long the stream is. But yes, all my streams will be on my channel, so if you want to look them back at a later time, you can do that. Let's see, we've got some questions, or we've got some stuff coming in. It's been a little bit quiet in the chat actually. We've got 1 messages per minute, so it's well, it's actually easy for me to keep track of all the comments. Let's see. Hello from Russia, good channel. Welcome, man. Welcome. Yeah, pitch envelope, great idea with the pitch envelope. I never do that, Kyeler says. I'm not sure, maybe I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but I'm Dutch, guys, so if I pronounce any of your names wrong, that's why. Yeah, pitch envelopes are great, man. You can really use it to give a nice, you know, transient to a sound. It really works. And having it on a macro is great because you can actually just have it really long and then just automate that macro as soon as you want the pitch to go all the way down to the root, which is great. You don't really have to work with the pitch envelopes, you can just automate and just create those really weird but really heavy pitch drops. Let's see. Hello Matt Blackser, welcome to the stream. Hello Dull Ghosts, welcome. I have 2 kick questions. What's the best way to put a sub under a DMB kick? There's a couple of different ways you can do it. You have some plugins by Waves called, I think it was Waves R-Bass and Waves Max Bass. Sorry guys, Waves R-Bass and Waves Max Bass are both pretty good at kind of like just adding a bit more low end to a drum sound, which is great. Ableton Live now actually has a tool for that as well, so if you have a kick drum, Ableton Live now has this little drum bus thing, and I'm just gonna put it on this sound. I mean, it's not meant to put on a bass, but maybe it actually sounds nice. But you have this little boom knob right here, and that just does pretty much that. It just adds low end to the sound. So see, it just adds low end and it really adds a ring to it as well. Now you can see we've got a decay and a frequency knob, so we can just tune that to a particular frequency. You know, even though this is a bass sound, it still adds low end to it. So yeah, that could work for a drum sound as well. Another way to do it is to just take a synthesizer and just add a layer underneath your main kick. Do the same thing with the pitch envelope, what I did here. Just take an envelope and assign it to the pitch, and then just shape that envelope and shape the amount of the pitch envelope to kind of like match the kick drum sample that you have. And that way you can really add, well, pretty much a really defined low end, pretty much what you want to add and what it needs. You can really just create that and add it, and then just, you know, compress it a bit so it sounds as one whole sound. But I think that's probably the harder way to do it, but it's gonna be a much more precise way to do it. I mean, kind of depends what you want. So if you want to put in the amount of effort to do it yourself, do it with a synth. If you don't know how to do that, or you don't have the time to do that, use any of these tools like Waves Max Bass, Waves R-Bass, or the new drum bus device in Ableton. As you're streaming and asking for comments, I'm using my chance. Could you shortly explain how to do a dark, deep, growly bass, nearly only consisting of sub with some decent growls? Is it Reese based? Those kind of sounds, I would actually just make them in layers, to be quite honest. I would just make a really low Reese, so just low pass, just have like a Reese going like I have now, but instead of the band reject, just use a low pass, so it just has absolutely, well, pretty much no upper harmonics. And if you do that, then it's that's just gonna sit there. That's gonna give you the nice low end, and then just make some growls or some sounds that you wanna layer on top of it, and just filter out the low end, and that usually works. How did you get Ableton Live 10 yet? Is this the beta? Yes, this is the beta version. So I'm just using the beta, looking for bugs, and that's it. So that's how I got it. Yeah. Smog or Cledo? That's a question about vaporizers. So I'm personally not a fan of Smog. I had some big issues with them, and they had really poor customer support. So yeah, I don't like Smog anymore, so I'm not using their products. Right now I'm just using Aspire, and I'm using the new Aspire Cledo Exo tank, which I really like. It's a great tank. It doesn't leak at all, which is perfect for what I do, because I have it in my pocket all the time, and I hated when my old Smog tank would leak, because it would just, you know, it would just fucking ruin my pockets. Plus it's not nice to put your hand in your pocket because you want to take a hit of your vape, and then it just is all wet and stuff like that, and you basically find out that all the liquid has leaked out of it. That's not nice at all. Just starts to get messy really quick. And yeah, I didn't like that about the Smog, and they didn't give me any customer support at all. So it actually took me, I think it was about 8 emails, about 15 posts on their social media pages, like on their Facebook posts and on their Instagram posts, and then I think it took me about, I think I actually did a couple of posts on my Twitter about it as well, that they weren't giving feedback at all or weren't giving support at all, and then finally they answered with an email. And well, the email itself, don't let me begin about it, man. It was a horrible email. Really, I wouldn't even send that to a colleague that I really don't like. So yeah, I just ditched Smog, and I just didn't look back. Just went to Aspire, and it's been really good. So it's sounding better now with the amp. Let's see what we can do. Let's add a multiband dynamics, and let's split this sound a little bit. Let's create 3 chains. Let's solo that one. What the hell is Smog and Cledo? Looks like pipes or amplifiers tubes. No, it's actually part of vaporizers, man. You know, for people who want to try to quit smoking. That kind of shit. So I think I'm gonna add a little bit more chorus to this. And let's see what we can do to the mids. Let's try out the new pedal device. I'm gonna put that here. It's the new distortion. As you can hear, it kind of changes it already. that's getting a bit better. Starting to sound a little bit less boring, I guess. Now, let's just add trash. I think we need trash right now. We need some more distortion. Where is it? Isotope, there. Isotope trash 2. I think that's what we need at the moment. Billy Myers says nasty. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, sounding pretty nasty. Let's see. I'm gonna switch to the multiband mode, and I'm gonna go into the mids. You can see we can really distort the crap out of it. And that's really gonna bring this Reese together, you know, just adding a little bit more distortion. That's gonna sound a bit better. And those high frequencies, let's try one of the fuzz ones. Do you feel as though Neuro is limited in its true form or sound? I don't really think so. I think you can do a lot. You know, you can get away with a lot in Neuro. So no, I don't think so. You can do, well, you can do a lot. I think that's the best way to put it. If you put in utility mono before audio effects rack, we can control the stereo image better. That's true. That's true. Although we aren't really getting too much stereo stuff right now, but we could add a utility to it. We can put, let's see. There is a little bit of stereo going on in the low end, so let's fix that. I'm gonna put a utility on the low band. I'm just gonna flick the mono switch. So that's better. And what we can do is we can add a compressor to the low end. And let's just squash the hell out of it. And let's add a notch filter before. This time I'm gonna go for a much higher resonance, so we're really just adding a bit more movement now. But this movement is much more subtle. What are your thoughts on breakcore? I don't listen to it myself anymore. I did listen to it when I was just getting into drum and bass and jungle. I did like breakcore quite a lot. I've seen some of the artists. I've seen a couple of artists live. Let's see. I've seen FFF live. I've seen Drum Corps live 2 times. And I think I saw Bong Ra live 2 times as well, but that's pretty much the only breakcore artist that I've seen perform live. So just shape the mid-side signal a little bit so we have less stereo content on the side. I think that's nice. We are getting some background noise at the moment. I'm not sure where it's coming from. I think it's just serum, maybe. I don't know. Doesn't really matter too much anyway, because you usually just end up resampling this in the end, so it's coming from the mid band. And a little bit in the low band as well. That's strange. Now it's gone. This is really awkward, guys. Sometimes. Anyway, let's see what we can do on the mid-range here. Trying to make the mid-range, it's hard to explain. What I want to do is sometimes you have this mid-range that just sounds like it's collapsing in on itself. I think that's the best way to put it. I'm not too sure how I would create that, but let's see if we use see, when it goes up into the higher pitch, on this note I want to have it, you know, kind of sound. I want to give it a nice crunchy sound on those higher notes, but I'll have to see how we can do that. We'll find it eventually, but might take a little bit. Removing that harmonic definitely makes the reese better on the higher note. Let's try the drive. Oh, that might be better. Still a bit too much on the low note. now it's becoming way too distorted in the low note. I mean, this is a Reese we can work with, so let's just keep this one for now. It's a pretty solid Reese. But will it work in this track? That's the question. Should we add a Reese to the start of the build-up? Maybe we should. And this Reese is still, it's not properly mixed. We really need to work on the level of it. But at least we have something, so we can start arranging maybe some bass hits here. I think this Reese could work in the build-up. See, it's way too loud. So what I need to do is go into trash, and in the mid band I'm gonna bring the gain down. I'm gonna do the same in the high band. Let's see. And I'm gonna remove that I think it's this one. I'm gonna remove it for now. We'll use it in the final track, but we'll just remove it right now so we can focus on that bass hit. And let's add a pitch bend to this. Or not. Might have to save that for later on. Maybe something like that could work. I think that's better. Having it lower will sound better, I think. And then maybe on the end. Do something like that. I think that's nice. And we could add that same little hit right before the build-up as well. And then here, I think we're just gonna add a long ass Reese node going up. Let's do this. And here is where that macro knob would come in really handy. This one. And just have that sit pretty much at the top. And there we have to cut it out, and I think this would actually work. We will have to work on this part though, so and we'll have to add some filtering to it as well, but at least I think this sounds nice. I'm not too sure on the Reese itself. It sounds a little bit too dark in my opinion. Might have to work on that. And I think we could remove the sub in the build-up as well. But that's just mixing stuff, so we might have to we might work on that later on. Let's see. Bandpass movement on build-up, maybe. That could work, yeah. We might actually do that. Let's see, maybe we want to add some drums to this part of the intro, so that we have maybe a little bit more of a drum and bass pattern going there. We could filter that in as well. Let's see, what do we have? We have this kick drum right here. Let's see how this kick drum sounds when we bring that low pass up. I mean, it's a good kick drum, but it's a little bit too clean, I think. Let's see. I love the title of it, by the way, Derpy Neuro Kick. See, that could actually work. think that works. So I've got a sidechain trigger track right here. What was the track doing again? Was it doing anything actually? It's not really doing anything right here. It's not doing anything here either. So I can actually change these notes if I want. Because what I want to do is I want to use these notes to add a little bit of sidechain to the bass. So I'm going to use the Ableton compressor, and I still have the Ableton Live 8 compressor, by the way, which is still the best compressor for sidechaining. I mean, I've checked the new Ableton, I checked the Ableton 10 compressor to see if they changed something, and I still get a little bit of clicking every now and then with the sidechain, so I tend to still use the Live 8 compressor. Let's pick my sidechain trigger track right here, and let's just bring that down. So let's see. That makes quite a big difference. It really makes that makes room for that kick drum, which is nice. We need something right here, maybe a hi-hat, to give it a little bit more pace, a little bit more rhythm. Let's go into the percussion track and let's create a new audio track. Could maybe use a break, that might work as well. Let's see what we've got. I've got a whole collection of breaks. Now these breaks I created these last week. I just went in on a sampling spree and just sampled a whole bunch of breaks and rearranged them and warped them to 172 beats per minute, which is absolutely nice. So we have try that one. Let's see if we can make a little bit of an end part right here. Let's go into the kick channel. I forgot that I had multiple clips right here, so we need to set the same setting to every clip. So like, do like that. Yeah, it's a start. It has a little bit more movement in the intro now. Not too sure though. Might want to try one of the other breaks as well, see if there's one that sounds a bit better, because I have a ton of them. So let's just add a high pass to this track. Welcome Ronin Music, welcome to the stream. And you missed it? What did you miss? The start of the stream? Don't worry mate, the stream will be online on my YouTube channel after the stream is done. So if you missed anything, you will be able to watch it back. And we've only been streaming for about 1 hour and a half, so you might actually be able to watch quite a bit of the stream. So yeah. Let's see, are there any new members in the Discord server? I think there are a few. If you guys want to be part of a cool community where me and other producers have a chat every single day and where we talk about music production and, you know, just geek around about music, check the link in the description below this stream. There's a link to my Discord server. If you want to be part of a cool community, join that Discord server. You'll be able to get feedback there. You'll be able to share your releases. You'll be able to find people to collab with. You'll be able to, I don't know, just learn new stuff about sound design or mixing or mastering or music production, any of those things. Or just, you know, goof around about music just like we do. It would be great to see you guys there. Also below in the description below the stream you can find a link to my Streamlabs page. On the Streamlabs page you guys can actually donate a little bit of money if you guys have anything to spare. I'm not forcing you to do anything, but if you have anything to spare, it would be great. Donations are the thing that keeps these streams going and that keeps my channel up and running. We all know that the ad revenue from YouTube isn't too good, isn't too much, so we gotta do with what we have, and we're all struggling right here. So if you guys have a little bit to spare and you want to see more streams and videos, then a little donation will be appreciated. But remember, I'm not forcing you to do anything. Yeah. Hey there, love the atmospheric intro. Welcome Sam. Glad you're liking it. Let's see. That one kind of works. Might be able to use the high end or something, just, you know, filter it in maybe. What's making the knocking Foley sound? It's a little sound I made of an interesting little sample. It's this sound right here. And it's coming from a sample, which is this sample. And I explained how I made this sound at the beginning of the stream, so if you missed that, check the video after it's uploaded to my channel and you'll be able to see how I did this particular sound. I think it's a pretty cool sound. I actually like this one. It has a weird sound in it. And I think I actually like how this one sounds. Let's just work with this right now. Sounds good enough. Maybe do just a real quick that kind of worked, just repeating that a little bit. I might actually just use that in the intro as well. We might actually be able to just use that. There's a little click on the end though, so let's give a little bit of fade outs to all these clips. Like that. It's better. And I'm going to add my sidechain trigger clip to here as well. Like that. And we have 2 kick drums here, so let's just place our sidechain trigger track there as well. Are there any questions about what I'm doing right now? Let me know in the chat and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. How do you know where the sidechain ends with the MIDI? Is this better than LFO2? I wouldn't say that's better than LFO2, it's just a different way of doing it. How do you know how long the sidechain is? It's actually pretty simple, because I'm making the sidechain trigger myself with operator. So what I've done is, you can see I've set this up like that. It's just a really short noise sound basically, and I'm just using the amp envelope to shape it, and I'm using the as you can see, I brought the attack up all the way, so the attack just starts right here at the top instead of at the bottom, and then I use the attack time, which is this one, to kind of like give me the length I want. Now I settled for 0.29 milliseconds, and then the decay is just the tail, basically how long it takes for that sidechain to drop back to its default value. And that way you can really just make it as long as you need it to be. And on the sidechain track itself, if you switch to this mode right here, you can actually see what it's doing. So you can actually see that little clip right, that little dip right there, and that's basically how you do it. So it's just a matter of tweaking the release time here and tweaking the trigger input that you're using, and that's this one that I've made myself. So that's basically it. Josh says, really vibing with these drums. Yeah, they're really adding a bit to the intro. They're still not perfect, but it's a good starting point. Would watching your older streams be a good way to learn basic neuro bass design? Is there a specific stream of yours that you can recommend? I haven't really done too many neuro bass design streams. I've done one last week where we made some basses and where we did some bass design. But I've also have an entire playlist on my YouTube channel with videos about how to make basses. So that might probably be a better thing for you to look at. It's called Bass Design, and the playlist is on my channel. So if you want to learn how to make some cool basses, there's a ton of neuro bass design videos in that playlist. So I think that would be a much better place for you to start. Volume Shaper 4 is good as well. Yes, I prefer LFO tool if I use a tool like that. But Volume Shaper is a good alternative as well. The neuro bass design videos are in Serum, they are in Samplers, I've used Operator, there's a whole bunch of different ones, so there's probably gonna be one for the synth that you're using. And if not, most of these settings can be translated to any other synth, so It's mostly about the processing when it comes to neurobase, so... You know, watching the videos, whether you work in Ableton or not, is probably gonna teach you a thing or two, so... I don't really care about what DAW people use when I watch a tutorial. I just listen to what they're telling and what they're actually explaining, and most of the settings you can translate to other synths and other instruments as well, so it doesn't really matter. It's just up to you to decipher what you need to do for the tools that you have. But, you know, yeah, I mean, watching the bass design videos, I think that would be a good place to start. So let's maybe do a fill on the end here. We could do maybe a pitch drop here, because I'm not really liking that building re sound here. That's a little bit too much. So I think if we add a pitch bend to this one instead, and just do this, we might be able to get something nice out of it. And then start to build up here with a different sound, or a different part, maybe some drums, or you know, something like that, to really build up towards the drop. Yeah, I mean, seamless how to bass series in Citrus are pretty good as well. I mean, if you're an FL user, that would probably teach you a lot about Citrus, but you know, it's a little bit of a different way of doing it. But I mean, even if you watch Citrus tutorials, you can still translate that to Operator for the most part, unless it's like a really complicated patch, then you might have to use Avamate. But I've been loving that whirring tone that seems to lurk in the background. Yeah, I bet you mean that high-pitched, screechy kind of pad, which I think is this one. I really like the sound of that as well. It's from Contact. Just it's quite distorted, but it really adds something to the track. You can get Citrus and Harmor in Ableton. Yes, you can. I actually have both, but I don't really use them that much, so... Sam asks, have you tried making Neurofunk's little brother NeuroHop? I did a few times, but I wasn't really that good at Neuro yet. I was mainly doing Glitch Hop at that time. But I did try it out a bunch of times. It didn't really succeed too well. But I might try it again, because I'm improving quite a bit on Neuro stuff, so... I might actually try it again someday. If you guys want to see that, let me know. It would be awesome to try. Yeah, Funky Space Cadet, that was like my last EP, I think. I've improved so much mixing wise and sound design wise since then. But it was a nice EP, you know. I love glitch hop, I love funky stuff, so. When's the next stream? What do you mean? We're streaming already. Can't you wait? Come on. How often do you want me to stream, boy? think we need some reversed kind of sounds. That's what we need right now, to lead us into this part and to lead us into the build-up. Let's see what we have. I got some stuff right here, I think. 8 beats, that might be good. Let's go into the Atmos group and into the effects group. Let's create a new audio track here. Let's just drag one in, so we could start with this one maybe. Let's see how that one sounds. It's a little bit too much, I think, but it might work in front of the build-up. Let's add a little bit of a fade to it as well. Maybe this one should lead into that bass hit, so the bass hit starts right here. I like that. Now let's see. That could work in front of the first section. I like that. That's a nice reverse right there. But we do need some kind of an element right here in the build-up, or in the intro. Something to fill it up a bit more. So, we need some kick drums right there in the second half of the build-up. And I think I just want to have that repeat like that. And then we're going to speed them up a little bit. Oh, we actually still have the kick drums here that I already placed there. We could just turn those back on. That works. We will add a high pass filter to this. Let's upgrade this one. And let's see. I I think the kick drum is pretty mono already, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flick that switch anyway, so that the low end of the kick drum is mono for sure. Don't think it's actually doing that much, but just to be sure. Let's add a high pass to this. Now I'm only going to use the high pass during this section of the build-up, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch into the automation mode, and I'm just going to select this part and turn the auto filter on just during this part. And then during the second half I'm going to automate this so that it comes up. And I'm going to shape this a little bit. So that's good. The pitch bend bug is back. Let's just make one clip out of this so that we know for sure that the pitch bend is gonna act like it's supposed to. Let's just do that so that we don't get any weird clicks at the end. Now it's back. I like how you work with audio with drums. So many people are so up their ass about synthesizing drums, but you make very hard sounding kicks and snares just using samples. Yeah, I like to just use samples, pretty much. So let's just see, we've got a good thing going. I'm going to duplicate this Reese bass, which I might have not. Okay. Phew, I thought we would crash Ableton for a bit, but it's good, it's all good. We haven't done anything wrong. I can get rid of that automation on the attack because we're not using it anymore. So let's just get rid of that. Let's just make a really basic bass line for now. So we're starting on F. And let's think about the bass. Let's go into the serum for a bit. Ableton is definitely getting slower right now. We might have to bounce and start resampling stuff at not too long from now. Let's see. We have the pitch envelope is really short at the moment. Now the bass here is definitely not done yet. I mean, we have to do quite a bit to this bass, but let's make some drums to go with it. So I'm gonna go with the kick drum. Now I'm gonna flick this little button so it doesn't copy over the automation. And let's bring that up so we have the full kick. Let's just focus on the first 4 beats for now. Let's find a snare. I've got a whole bunch of snares as well, which I made, as you can see. Let's just see what we've got. Let's try this one. We need our sidechain trigger, and here we actually need another note right here for the snare drum. And now we can hear that the sidechain is too much. I mean, we can always tweak that later on. It's good for now. So let's continue with this and duplicate what we have. So I'm gonna switch out of automation mode so that we can actually select everything a little bit more easier. Let's go into the sidechain trigger as well. And we need to change this because we've change the kick drum position. Let's just see which pattern works better. So these drums are way too clean, way too simple. That one might actually work. It's a bit too heavy, but we might be able to use a layer from this one. Let's just drop it in this second track and forget about it for now. That one might be good. I like how crispy that is. That sounds really heavy. Yeah. Now the kick drum needs a lot of work. It needs a good layer. It needs to be a lot heavier. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate the kick drum channel so that we can actually affect the kick drum from the intro separate from the kick drum in the drop. So I'm just gonna delete these and I'm gonna delete those so that we have a clean kick drum here, and we can actually process that a bit more so that we have a nice dirty kick in the drop. And let's see. I like this layer. So I like that. let's add a glue compressor to this so that we can just compress it a little bit. If the high-pass filter on the kick at the end of the build had 4 increasing automation peaks, it could drop harder. What do you mean? I am filtering it actually. As you can see what I'm doing here. I think that kind of works. I might actually drop it in volume a bit and let a snare roll come in as well to really build up the tension. I think that would work as well. I'm going to change these notes right now. I'm gonna keep that clip though. I'm just gonna add a long note right here. Let's work on the kick drum. We need to add another layer to this kick because it's quite a clean kick, if you would say. I mean, the low end is nice, but the mids lack something. There needs to be something. Let's see. When you add swing to your drums, which groove do you add from Ableton? I don't add any of the grooves. I don't use the grooves at all. As you can see, my groove pool is closed, and it's pretty much like that every single day. If I want to add some groove, I'll do it manually, by hand. I'll usually switch to a triplet grid and work on the triplet grid. It's a good thing to do, actually. Like right now we have this. If I turn the entire kick snare group on, and that works. But when I would like to add swing, it's a trick I used to do when I made glitch hop, is switch to the triplet grid. And normally you would start working in 1/12 notes, right, or 1/24 notes, but don't do that. Just zoom out until every beat is divided into 3 subdivisions, and now still think as if you're working in 1/16 notes, except only use this first grid line and the third. So you're basically skipping the middle one, and what that'll do is it'll create a really clown steppy kind of thing. Just you wait. We can do, let's see, you can do this kind of thing. See? And there you have it, there you have swing. So it's actually a really simple technique. You just have to remember that you're working in the triplet grid, and that, you know, you can do like really quick triplet fills like that, just doing stuff like that. See, you can do really cool stuff, but I'm not working in triplets for this track. I'm just working on a regular grid. So let's get back to where we were, which was this. Now for the mids of the kick drum, let's see.
Riggedy, riggedy, wreck, son!
Maybe something like that could work. Thanks Tyler Crum for subscribing. Thanks a lot. Every subscription means a lot to me, and we're slowly moving up to 52,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is crazy. It's really crazy. We've been growing quite a bit. The goal was to grow to 100k as soon as possible, but that's probably gonna take a while, seeing how long it took me to get to 50,000. But I mean, 50,000 is a lot of people. I mean, when I started this YouTube channel, I never expected that amount of an audience to follow me, and over the years it really developed into something great. And I started at some point with a Skype group as well, which was great. It was the first thing of, well, the first part of me just trying a group chat for music producers, and the Skype chat ran for a good few years, and it was a really active place. But Skype was really a pain in the ass to manage a group chat in. There was pretty much no moderation whatsoever, so I was really just stuck with a group and a lot of inactive members, and there was no way to check which members were active or not. I did found like a little piece of software at some point to check how active my members were, but it was still a pain in the ass. So at the start of this year, or at the end of last year, I switched over to Discord, and that's really been a great thing to do, because right now we have a music production community that was, well, that's much more active than it was on Skype, and it's a lot more organized, because you now have separate channels for every single thing. So you have like a separate channel for feedback, you have a separate channel for sound design, for music production. And back on Skype it was just one chat room with a couple of hundred producers, and it was just mayhem every single day. When you would post something, it would pretty much be impossible to find it back a couple of minutes later. So yeah, we've switched to Discord, and that's been great. So if you guys want to be part of a cool Discord community for music producers, it's mostly drum and bass, but we accept any genre. Check out the link in the description below the stream. You can find a link to my Discord server. With that link you can join the server, and you will actually be part of a community where you can talk to me and talk to a whole bunch of other producers, learn some new stuff, you know, just have a chat and have a great time. That would be great. Also, if you want to donate a little bit of money to help the stream go in and to help me make better streams in the future, then check out the Streamlabs link. You can use that to make any donation you want. That's just gonna, you know, help me keep this thing going. And what I'm trying to do is I'm gonna be trying to do more frequent streams, and I might actually start doing streams on specific days at some point. So if you guys want to have that, then, well, donations will help a lot. Now, that being said, I think this kick drum really adds to the dirtiness of this kick. And it actually quite works with the low end. Let's see if when we flip the face of this, might have to make it a bit shorter. I keep going back to these automation things for the fades, but they're now here. I just keep going back. I'm so used to Live 9. I mean, it's definitely dirtier. You know, that also really works if you're layering drums. Play with these delays on your channels, because sometimes just a millisecond or 2 milliseconds can make a huge change in terms of the sound of your kicks. It really helps to align the phases of these kick drum samples. So you can hear right now, it sounds pretty good. If I drop this, Can you hear how it actually changes the transient just a little bit? And I think I like this more with just that 1 millisecond delay. Lodestone says not jump up though. No, we actually don't really have that many jump up producers in my server, but I wouldn't mind. I personally don't listen to jump up that much. I don't really like it, but if that's your thing, then feel free to post jump up. I don't care. It's drum and bass in the end, so. So that has changed our kick a little bit. It has definitely made a difference. And let's add a little bit of compression to the kick as well. So let's use a slow attack. And on the kick snare channel itself, in the group, I'm going to add a saturator. The kick is not too good yet. We need to put in some more work. I might actually have to replace this low kick layer. Let's see what happens if we do that. Let's add a transient shaper to the kick drum. Let's add a little bit of attack. Let's add a hi-hat to this as well, so we have a little bit more rhythm. And we could do this actually, so we're not interfering with the other drum sounds. We're just having some hats where there's space. Some reverb on the snare. Yeah, we can try that. I like to use a return track for that, and the great thing right now is that you can actually make a return track, and I'm gonna give it the same color as the kick snare group, so that I know that this reverb is basically just the snare reverb, and I'm gonna use it just for that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use Valhalla Room, I think. Or should I use the plate? What reverb is best on snares, guys? What do you think? Should I use the plate or the room? I guess plates are sometimes nice on snares. What would you call Ram Records Hospitality Type DNB? I would call it Neuro, to be honest. Kind of depends which track, you know, because every track is different, of course, and they have more commercial sounding tracks and they have more neuro sounding tracks, so kind of depends which track you're listening to. Soundtoys plate, I don't have that one yet. Actually, my Soundtoys plugin stopped working. I think it's an issue with the iLok software. It just doesn't load my licenses at the moment, so I might have to check that and see what's wrong with that, but iLok just fucks up like that every now and then, where it just doesn't load your licenses, which is a pain in the ass. Let's just keep it at that. So the room reverb it is. Let's put Valhalla Room on here, and let's see, what do we got? Dark Drum Room might actually be a good one. Let's see what happens. So I'm gonna send the snare into the reverb. And let's just play around with this reverb a bit. So I think a short reverb like that is pretty much all we need. I don't think we need a really long reverb. It just adds a little bit of a tail. Oh, and if we then high pass the reverb, I think that's better. what we can then do is on the return track is I can, right now it's routed through the master track, and I can send this back into my let's see, I can send this back into my kick snare group, I think. I cannot send this back into my kick snare group. Okay, that's odd. Would be nice to just send this into this particular group. That would be great. But apparently you cannot do that. Okay. Oh well. It's good enough. I need a drink, boys. I'm gonna play this track while I'm just gonna grab a drink real quick. Let's just play this for what we have. Let's just listen to it for a bit. One moment, boys. I'll be back in a second, or maybe half a minute. There we go. I'm gonna take a little toilet break and grab a drink real quick. Okay, moment, guys. I got myself some sour candy. Starting to sound a bit better now. let's see. Ronin Music says needs some modulation on the bass. Yeah, I mean the bass is just really simple right now, but I'm really focusing on the drums a bit more and on the notes of the bass line as well. I mean there will be more processing later on, but for now it's good enough. You know, we kind of like need to get a groove going first. So that's definitely sounding good. I like the notes of the bass now. I think I want to move this one up a bit higher though, so that we get maybe even an octave higher. Sounding better. I definitely like where this is going. Let's add some more percussion to this. So we had let's see, we had some drums in the intro. We had that one. Let's see how that sounds underneath the drop. Let's try this one here as well. I don't really like them too much. I think we need some other percussion in the drop. Let's add another audio track. And we need some maybe a reversed cymbal of some kind, or an open hat. Maybe that could work. I think I want to have this lead into the second snare. Or into the kick drum, that could also work. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. And I'm gonna get rid of this hi-hat here. And I'm gonna make a little bit of a different phrase on the end.
Riggedy wrecked, son!
Who just subscribed? Let's see. Was it Billy Myers? No, it wasn't. Let me refresh this real quick so we can see who just subscribed to my channel. Let's see. VAR just subscribed. Welcome, VAR. And Tyler Crum also just subscribed. Thanks a lot, guys. We've been getting a bunch of new subscribers today. It's really great. We haven't gotten any donations though. Last streams were a little bit better. We had a few more donations last stream. Remember, guys, I need to keep this stream running. I need to keep this channel running, and every little bit helps. But you know, maybe you guys are just broke. That might also be a reason. I mean, the Christmas months are coming. Everybody's gonna spend a lot more money. So, you know, I can understand. After the first section of the drop, I would add some rides to liven it up. Yeah, definitely, that could work. Let's copy over what we have right now for the drums. Let's just copy these over. So I think the rides would have to come in right here. So I'll do that later. I'll work on this first section a bit more first. So let's just work on these 8 bars that we have right here. We've been going for 2 hours and 46 minutes. I'm gonna produce for 15 more minutes, guys, and then we're gonna do a final question round, and then we'll end this stream today, and we'll get back in a later stream. Hopefully later this week, maybe next week, but I'll keep you guys updated, so just have a look on my social media. Right here on the end, let's copy this derpy neuro kick and let's reverse it so that we can do maybe that. Oh wow, we just had a 10 US pound donation. Thank you, Billy Myers. Wait,
coming back when the time is right.
I was about to say, when is the notification gonna come? Thank you, Billy. This is highly appreciated. Absolutely. What a duddy banger that was. Yeah, absolutely. That's a really nice track. It's a track by Face, by the way. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the track is by Face, and I love that track. It's a great tune. But yeah, thanks, Billy. Highly appreciated. You will have your name scrolling through the bottom of the stream from now on. And seeing by the amount of donations I've been getting, your name is gonna be there for the upcoming 2 to 3 streams maybe. So yeah, good job. No, really, man, that helps a lot. Let's see. So that reversed kick actually is pretty nice, but I'm gonna drop the volume a bit. And we need a break on the end, so we need some break here. Luckily I have a bunch of ones that I think are gonna fit. this might work. It's actually just an aim brake. Let's see, where is our kick drum? Right here. So I could do something like this maybe. And maybe use this one so that we get a little bit of a fill going. Maybe one of these could work as well. Let's try another part in here. Let's see, these brakes are so nice. Where did you get them? I actually made them myself. I just went in and sampled a whole bunch of brakes, and then I just rearranged the hits and just made them work on 172 beats per minute. Oh, this one could actually work. See, that sounds nice. And we need to add a high pass to here so that we don't get that low end rumble. But it's a good start. Just remove that. I like that. I'm gonna add another audio track because I think we need another break in here to like, this is really dirty. I like this one though. More gravy for fellow producers. I reversed a crowd call with long tail reverb and was stoked with the result. Have any homemade ideas you guys were happy with as the man works? Well, that's a nice thing. That could actually be a nice sound. Yeah. If you want to show the sound to me, then join in my Discord server and post it there. It would be great to post in the sound design channel, because I think a lot of people would actually love to hear stuff like that. Hi Mr. ARTFX. Hey Ben de Smet. You must be Dutch, seeing by your name. Welcome. Okay, so this one works, but I only want to use this part. I don't like that first double kick, so we're gonna use that part. And I'm just gonna... Can I just loop this here? Yeah, that's nice. And we're just gonna drag this out so that we have this. I'm gonna shorten it a little bit. And I like the sound of this now, but I think we need to shape it a little bit. For instance, maybe we should have to add a little bit of sidechain compression to this. Why? Because I don't want these hits to interfere with my main drum hits. So if I put my sidechain on here, you can hear we're now losing a little bit of the original kick and snare in this sample. That works. I'm gonna remove this hi-hat right here. I'm gonna give it a little fade, and now we can duplicate these two so that we have that going. So that's good. You're from Belgium. Nice. Good to see some Belgian viewers as well. Yeah, so we've done quite a bit today, guys. We've actually made the drums a lot better. Let's try some New York style compression on this, see how that sounds. It's not doing too much. Let's not do it then. Let's try out the new drum bus tool. Let's see how that sounds on here. It makes it sound a little bit warmer, which is good. Let's go for a little bit of saturation with SDRR, which is a great saturation plugin. And it's really cheap as well. It's only, I think it's only 29 euros, so that's really cheap. You can hear it just really rolls off the high end a little bit, which is nice. So that made the drums a little bit dirtier. And we could add a little bit of trash too to the drums as well. It's something I do a lot. It's just using trash too to make sure that the drums don't peak any louder than 0 dB. And the way I do that is just go into the distort module and just use clip control. And clip control is really nice. It just boosts the drum sounds in volume. And I like to play around with this mix knob. As you can hear, it just brings the drums up a bit, and now we could actually raise the bass as well. So that really made a huge difference. And how loud are we on the limiter? We are getting a lot of gain reduction. Oh, that's because the drums are too loud right now. If I bring this one down to -8, which is the level I'm working on, we can now that's better. And let's try camel fat. Oh, not on the master. We need to put camel fat on the drum bus. Let's see if we can squeeze a little bit more level out of this. That's better. Then on the limiter, I think we can boost it a bit more now. That's better. It's definitely not there yet, but it's better than what it was before. With all the gain staging with external plugins, does it get confusing? It can get confusing at some times, but you know, it doesn't really. It's just a matter of tweaking, and it can get confusing. But that's why I like to bounce stuff at some point when I'm happy, and then I can just work on from there and just know that it's at a good level. Right now I'm just paying attention to making the drums sound fat and hard hitting, which I think I kind of succeeded at. The kick is a little bit too distorted, but I'll work on that later. I'll try fix that in a later stream. We can raise the level of the bass a bit. I mean, it's sounding better, but it's getting there. It's slowly getting there. It's slowly taking shape. So, if there's any questions, guys, this is your time to ask. This is the last 10-15 minutes of the stream. I'm gonna be playing this track for a little bit, and then I'm gonna ask the final questions. So, there we go. So, there we have it. We've improved quite a bit today. We've made a bunch of new stuff. So yeah, the track is taking shape. It's we've got to start for a drop, and that's a big thing for me because I usually struggle with getting a drop going quite a lot, and the transition between the drop and the build-up and the drop needs a little work, but it's definitely getting there. I like that little helicopter-y sound that we had. I really like that, and yeah, it's taking shape. So let's see. I find it very hard to find the right amount of high mids and highs for bass. It always sounds very muddy or too crunchy. How do you find the right mix? Just by ear, just fiddling around and listening a lot to other tracks and referencing your own track to them is definitely gonna help. And it's gonna help to give you the right level for your high end and your sub. That's usually what I'll do. Using frequency analyzers a lot as well. That will help you a lot to find the right levels, because you can clearly see where the level of the high end is and where the level of the sub is, and I think that's your best bet. Exemption asks, I really want to know how to set levels correctly. I usually do it by ear, but is there a way that can be easier to reference? That's pretty much the same answer. Using frequency analyzers, that's pretty much what I would do, and referencing your track to other tracks to, well, basically make a note of where their levels are. Now, for your reference track, definitely use tracks that are good, well mixed, so use tracks that you really like. But what I also advise to people is keep the tracks in your reference tracks. So I have a bunch here. I haven't really used them in the stream because I don't want to get into copyright issues, but keep those reference track recent as well, because you don't want to reference to, let's say, a drum and bass track from 5 or 6 years ago, because that'll just make you sound like the drum and bass from 5 or 6 years ago. So keep those reference tracks recent as well, so that you're up to date with what the current sound is and what the current trend in mixing is for drum and bass. That's gonna help you a lot as well. Learn VU meters. Yeah, VU meters can be great. I also have on my master, I usually have the Brainworks BX meter, which is great, which will allow us what the level to see what the level is. So let's see. I mean, we're already hitting a -4 to -3 on the RMS, which is quite high. I don't really want to go much further than that. That's pretty much the loudest you want to go. Now the mix is just really basic right now. That limiter and the API compressor that I have here is this just gluing the entire mix together. So it's just adding a little bit of glue. It's just a preset from the API compressor. It's the Drew Levine Modern Mastering Glue, and then I just tweak the threshold a little bit so that I get a little bit of gain reduction. I don't want to see too much, I just want to glue things together. And then I have the limiter, which is really squashing the mix, and I just have this to hear how my mix sounds when it's loud. This will be bypassed on the end when I'm actually going to export the stems for the final mix down and the final master. But for now, this will do, and this will help me to at least get a nice loud track. But you have to check the limiter every now and then, because you saw we had a way too loud limiter going on at some point. So just checking that every now and then to see if we aren't really boosting it too much. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'll do. And then again, a lot of my gain staging is just a matter of doing it by ear and looking at the meters right here, just looking at all the meters and seeing where they're peaking. And you know, I use a lot of soft clipping and a lot of stuff like that, which will limit my tracks to a particular level. And that really helps, because if you add soft clipping and drive it into that so that you know that the track is just at its max volume, you can then actually use the volume right here, and you'll know that if I bring it down 3 dB, if this right here, if the track is limited like my drums are right now, my drums are peaking at 0 dB at the end of this group track, but I'm bringing the volume of this group track down to -8. So right now I know that my drums will be peaking at exactly -8 dB in my mix. And the same for the bass. The bass is pretty much hitting at 0 dB at the end of this group, and this group is again right here on the drop group. I've brought that down to -8 as well, so you know that the bass is sitting pretty much roughly around that -8 level as well at this point, which will make your mixing a lot easier. So that's it. We haven't really gotten any more questions right now. I hope you guys like the stream, and if you want to be part of a music production community, check out the Discord invite link below the stream. In the Discord server you guys can ask me additional questions, and you can get back to me if you made something and you want to show off some sound design. You can also get feedback from other producers there, so it will be great to see you guys in the Discord server. Also, I again want to thank Billy Myers for his donation during the stream. It's highly appreciated, and it's those donations that keep this stream and this channel running, and that will help me to make better streams and more frequent streams in the future. So if you guys want to support me in any form of way, you can also find a donation link below this stream in the description. Any donation will be highly appreciated and will show up in the streams on the bottom of the screen. So even if you donate after the stream is over, you will still see your name pop up in the next stream. It will simply be listed in the bottom latest donations bar. And yeah, other than that, I hope you guys really like the stream, and I'll see you back later this week. So that's it. I'll see you back later this week. Have a nice day. Peace.